morning. Just want to start by saying that I am not going to preach about Supreme Court rulings today. It is too much, it is too tender, and I have nothing to say. And we have such beautiful readings from Scripture. Both the readings from Galatians and Luke this morning offer a simplicity that my soul craves. This world is not simple, but somehow in these readings this morning, you feel like you could almost grab it. In this part of his letter to the Galatians, what Paul is trying to talk about is freedom. And it is sad and hard that there is so much language that sounds like body shaming and pleasure shaming in it. And I don't actually know if that's what Paul meant, but I can only be a Christian and hope that it's not what God means. The flesh is not bad, the body is not bad. What Paul is talking about is an entire worldview, a way of being community together, and is dramatically differentiating two ways that communities can be. There is this kingdom of love that is full of the fruits of the Spirit, and then there's everybody just being nasty. I think if he didn't start that list with fornication, it might sound a little different, because so much of the rest of it, anger, factions, quarreling, jealousy, that is obviously awful. No one wants to be in a community that is ruled by a lack of consent and fighting and infighting. This life that Jesus is offering is a life of liberation. This fruit of the Spirit, love and patience and joy and peacefulness and self-control, these are not individual values, but ways of living together as a community. I would much rather be a part of a community that has a focus on compassion and gentleness and forgiveness and love. And so they think that is what Paul is talking about, that this is the quality of a life lived in the freedom of love. And then in the gospel this morning, Jesus has set his face to Jerusalem. His entire body, his entire everything is oriented in this singular focus. And the insult of a community that doesn't want to take him in does not bother him at all. James and John, those thunder boys, want to know if this is the time that they can rain down fire from heaven, as if they could, they can't. And Jesus says, no, my face is set toward Jerusalem. We're just going to keep going. His face is set and he is so clear and so intense, and his urgency is part of that simplicity I can only imagine living with. His unwavering clarity makes my complicated, nuanced everything feel heavy sometimes. That one guy says, I'll go wherever you go. And Jesus says, on this journey there will be no home for you. You will no longer belong to any particular place. Is your face set toward comfort, or is your face set toward Jerusalem? Real quick, I need to go bury my dad, says another, which seems like a really, really valid thing. Let the dead bury their own dead, says Jesus. This is a journey that is going just to Jerusalem. And maybe if you go to bury your dad, then you have to take care of all of his stuff and deal with a lifetime of grief and all the things he never said and all of the things that he did say. And you may never get back on the road to Jerusalem, says Jesus. You may never have time to reconcile every difficult relationship before you set your face on this road. Proclaim the kingdom of love and come with me. I would love to come, says the third guy, but first, I just got to wrap up a few things at home and say bye. Jesus says, no one can plow looking behind them. This work, this journey towards Jerusalem, is a forward-facing journey. There is no time to turn back. There is only now. There is only forward. When you go back to say goodbye, somebody's going to need something. We may never leave. This urgency of Jesus, his focus, his face set toward Jerusalem. This whole journey of his has an urgency that is impressive and terrifying. And I wonder if perhaps Jesus is mourning his own lack of home, his own nest, his own den. Perhaps Jesus is homesick and lonely because this road to Jerusalem is long. Perhaps Jesus' heart is still breaking for someone he did not get to bury or say goodbye to. Perhaps his own heart is still sore and tender from unfinished business. Perhaps there was a funeral that he missed. And this urgency and this path and this call of Jerusalem, his walking towards the place that will liberate us all, has to consume him. And he calls us to be consumed as well. Stay focused, he calls, set your face toward love. We are walking to freedom. Christ has set us free, and part of what Paul is talking about in Galatians is, what are you going to use that freedom for? Do you use your freedom just to make more for yourself and get what you can and step on other people, or do you use your freedom for the love of the whole world? What is your face set toward? Jesus doesn't care if one Samaritan village doesn't welcome him. He doesn't care what is happening, because what is happening in Jerusalem is calling him with a clarity and an urgency that is everything. And it is simple, and it is awful, and it is beautiful. And his face is set towards Jerusalem so that our faces might be set towards love. Amen.